Hello, my name's Paul Bergin. I'm the moderator of the Mars Hill blog, which you can find at www.paulbergin, that's PAULBURGIN, .blogspot.co.uk. Yeah, it's part of a series of blogs I'm doing, or vlogs rather, on important moments in polar exploration over the last nearly 200 years. And the one I want to talk about today, just briefly, is the endurance expedition in the Antarctic of 1914 to 1916. And it was to do with Sir Ernest Shackleton having nothing less than an audacious plan to be among the first to cross the Antarctic. This, of course, in the days of pre-long range radio. Air flights were in its infancy, so if he did hit problems, he hit problems, and he had to totally go blind in relying on depots being laid by the Ross Sea Party on the other side of the Antarctic, who actually did, because they got to McMurdo Sound, the other side of the Antarctic. They actually got to lay depots all the way up to the Beardmore Glacier. So Shackleton and his men didn't get as far as the coast. The ship got caught, the Endurance, the ship got caught in the ice. The Antarctic winter set in, and when spring and early summer in the south arrived, we're talking about August, September 1915, the ship got crushed in the ice. So they're stuck on the ice, having drifted further north during the winter, and they are basically in dire straits. But they take 3 of the lifeboats from the ship before it's destroyed, and they set off for Elephant Island, which is on the edge of Antarctica. But that's only been visited twice since its discovery in 1830, and they're the second people. So the chances of being found are next to zero. They can only rely on the livestock of creatures that are, for them, unfortunate to land on the beach at Elephant Island where they are. So Shackleton and 5 others have this audacious, almost suicidal plan, but they had no alternative, to take the James Caird lifeboat, thoroughly refit it so it's watertight, the works, for a hazardous 800-mile journey across the Southern Ocean, high waves, all to get to South Georgia, near the part of the Falklands Islands dependency, in some of the roughest ocean weather on the planet. And if they miss South Georgia, they're dead. But somehow they did it. Not least to Frank Worsley, the captain of the Endurance's exceptional navigational skills. But they're on the wrong side of the island. The whaling station, which they knew was on South Georgia, is on the other side. So they had to, 3 of the 6 men, including Shackleton, were well enough to travel to the other side of the island, and they basically clambered over the mountains of South Georgia, which no one had tried before, and got help. Very little time to spare. 3 men were rescued on the other side of the island, but it took 4 months before they managed to rescue the people on Elephant Island, none of whom had died, and they managed to survive the Antarctic winter. Sadly, of the Ross Sea Party, which Shackleton felt responsible for, but was not responsible for in the direct sense, their boat, the boat that took them, lost its anchor and drifted off in the ice and ended up in New Zealand. But the Aurora, but the Ross Sea Party stayed at Scott's place at Cape Evans, where he had his last expedition. and they laid depots all the way to Beermore Glacier, but scurvy set in. One of them died, the Reverend Spencer Smith, the first clergyman in the Antarctic, died shortly before they arrived at the Discovery Hut near Cape Evans. And the other two caught scurvy, one of them the captain of the Ross Sea Party, Mackintosh, could not wait for the ice to set, and when they were well enough to get up and walk, they went across, and they were never seen again. There was a storm half an hour after they left, and the ice broke up, and they were clearly killed in the storm. But after a few weeks, the others managed to get across to Cape Evans and waited for rescue, which happened in January 1917. It's one of those tough expeditions, and the amazing thing is how they all survived. How many of them survived. Could have so ended up being the Antarctic version of the Franklin expedition, and yet it didn't. It was incredible, not least to Shackleton, whose sheer determination and grit to keep everyone together, inspiring loyalty, and doing amazingly well in exceptional circumstances. That credit goes there, and that's the Endurance expedition.